going to do something different for a change. I see a lot of these older people like myself out there just, don't want to say rambling on, but telling their life stories. And I'm realizing they might have something going on there. As an example, today I'm having a discussion where somebody, I assume they're young, wants to blame all boomers for everything that's wrong with this world nowadays. And I keep saying, nah, that ain't got to cut it. I'm a boomer. I didn't have nothing to do with this. Didn't even know about it when I was your age. So I'm going to try and elaborate on that. Because, most of the videos I create are about jobs, and it seems nobody wants to listen to that. It seems like their attitude is either, well, you either got a job or you ain't got a job, and there ain't no more to it. Well, if that's the reality you deal with, that's the reality you deal with. So let's tell this little story. Back, I would have graduated high school in 1976. So about 3 years later, I'm over in the Mediterranean Ocean. Standing in the mid-watch. That's when all the officers and everybody's in bed for the most part. Pretty well got the Radio Shack to yourself with a couple others. And I'm tuning through what we call it was an RF-390, but it's basically a shortwave receiver. Except you can receive upper sideband, AM, all that, lower sideband, everything on it. And I'm looking for a radio station. And I forget who I tuned in. I think it was Wolfman Jack or somebody like that. Back in the early days. Like I say, I was probably about 21 years old. I'll be 68 next month, so I'll give you an example. Idea how long ago it was. And I heard something. It blew me away. But I think it's what makes me realize that boomers are not to blame for what's going on in the world right now. Like I said, I was about 21 years old, and I'm tuning around the radio station, and I hear this guy say something about the steel mills are moving overseas to China. Maybe it was the leather mills up in Maine or someplace. I don't really remember. But they were moving. And what got me was the answer that the media was passing around way back then. This is how long this con game's been going on. The answer was, don't worry, they'll find similar or better paying jobs. Well, here we are about 50 years later. And we all know that's BS. I'm trying to watch my language here. I'd say something else better, but it's all BS. We know that now. History tells us that's all BS. Now, the older guys like me were around back then, especially the ones that have gone through this stuff where we lost our jobs and we can't find a job no matter what we do, and everybody's saying, well, you need to get a job because there's plenty of jobs out there. And the only one that doesn't want to work is, I don't even remember what that saying was right now. Lost my train of thought. But anyway, we can't find jobs, especially if we're considered overskilled. If you're considered overskilled these days, that is the kiss of death. I'm here to tell you. I've lived this nightmare. I've been in the trenches. But anyway, I just want you to understand that boomers had nothing to do with what's going on in the world. There's 8 billion people out there, a little bit more. If you want to blame something, you probably got less than 1 million to blame. And they'd be the politicians that made it possible for the employers to send our jobs overseas back in the beginning. And then starting around 1990 to import workers to take our jobs. If you want to blame somebody, look all up all those politicians during that time frame from 1975 till 2025 and make you a list. Check it twice. That's who you blame. Now, your corporate executives, well, there's a lot more of them. Let's say there's 1 million companies out there. Well, the C-suite probably has 5 or 6 executives. So, you might be talking 5 or 6 million people now that I think about it. But if you want to blame somebody, that's who you blame. Anyway, if you're struggling right now and you're young, never thought I'd say this. The Navy was the best thing I ever did. You might want to consider it. Anyway, enough of this rambling on. I just wanted to let you know that there's more to life than all the crap you're living through right now. Get out there, smell the roses.